Hello, my name is Eric Anders. I'm the creator of GameBall, the gaming trackball, and I want to make a quick video just describing the unit itself, the history behind it, some background, where we want to take the device, what has gotten us to this point, and really just give some more information about the unit itself more than what's on the website. I will be making other videos of me using the unit in Windows and in games, but this is just really just a background, kind of what's gotten us to this point and what we expect moving forward. So first off, I'm in my late 40s. I've been gaming for quite some time, as you can see behind me. Been playing, started probably on the Apple II with Oregon Trail, some of the early games on the VIC-20, Commodore 64, played the Gold Box series, the SSI Gold Box series on the Commodore 64. 286, 386 machines, started playing Wing Commander, F-19, some of the early Microprose games, really like those. Really been an avid gamer ever since. Currently playing The Division 2, World of Warcraft Classic, a number of other games. But it was really in the early 90s when I got my first trackball, and it was the Kensington Expert Mouse. Excellent trackball, and fell in love with it and have been using trackballs ever since. Really like the feel, the comfort, just prefer that over a mouse. So I used the Kensington for quite some time. I switched over to, if you remember this guy, this Logitech trackball or Trackman. This was a good unit. I used that for quite some time. Of course, I've used the Microsoft Expert Mouse. Fantastic trackball in itself there. Used other Logitech trackballs. This little guy here, used that for quite some time. Really used a lot of the Logitech Marble mouse. This is an old one, this is a PS2 one, but I have a bunch of these. So, been using trackballs for quite some time. Prefer that over mice. And I even used, the thumb versions. I have a number of the thumb trackballs around. They're good. A lot of people prefer them. They're not necessarily for me. They're probably better in some games, but for me, I prefer the pointing with the fingertip trackballs. So, fell in love with the trackballs, and then about 20 years of corporate life, I decided to take a break, and I left the company. It was a good company. It was just I was due for a break. And I just started looking at what I want to do for the rest of my life, and wanted a project that was going to inspire me, something for myself. So I started looking at, what are my interests, what do I know? And I know computer gaming, and I realized that there wasn't a trackball out there specific for gaming, so I decided to make one on my own. Did some research, did a crowdfunding campaign. If you remember back in 2016, this was the design of the unit back then. This is the one we ran through the crowdfunding campaign. Learned an awful lot. Very good feedback from the community, from users online. They inspired me. We were going to cancel the project many times. Had a number of issues with people leaving, and then just a lot of weird issues. So, but really kept with it and started reworking the design, looking at different options. Again, feedback from the community and what they liked and disliked. So we started doing, like resin samples, clay models. Like this was an early one of kind of what the shape of the unit looks like today, basic shape of that. Moved on. This is a little bit more refined one. Again, this is just a resin model, but really worked at it. And 4 years later, we have some prototypes out there. And this is the current unit. This is also a prototype, but this is fairly close to final. This has a few 3D printed parts, but for the most part, this is pretty close to final unit, and this is the one we're all doing extended testing on. So, very happy with the unit. We have testers all over the globe using it today, and giving us some very valuable feedback. Based on that, will impact when exactly we'll be able to go to market. We're anticipating January, February, starting to sell these things. Like I have a blue unit here. This is an example of what a blue one will look like, and we'll probably do a limited edition version of this particular unit, in blue, and then the final production runs will be all in red after that. So that's the plan at the moment. That may change, but don't anticipate the actual change of the unit too much. And the way it's the way it's used today is it's a 6-button mouse, 3 on each side. It's ambidextrous. very symmetrical. We made the buttons extra long so you're able to use them with different hand sizes and finger lengths. It has a scroll touchpad on the unit itself. So when you scroll, you actually go, scroll up, scroll down, page at a time, or you can scroll and hold, and it'll cycle through your pages and menus. So that's right-handed or left-handed. It'll work on either side. And then this little button right here switches between right-handed and left-handed. You just press and hold that for 3 seconds, and it'll switch between right and left-handed. Some of those features may change. Like for right now, there is a LED lighting in the device where you can change the lighting, and that's done off the DPI button. But that will eventually be moved up here to a button specific for the LED lighting, which will have the various settings and an off setting. So that's the unit as it stands right now. Pretty happy with it. The ball sits fairly high thanks to these little tension risers. It's completely enclosed inside, so there's no gap for any debris or dirt to get inside there. It's ceramic bearings, and it's a high-end PixArt sensor. We haven't decided on the final one yet, but the quality of these things has gotten really good, and this one is actually able to go through that plastic and be able to read the ball with no problems. So that's the current unit. This is a 38 millimeter ball, and it's a very comfortable, fits various hand sizes, and we're happy with the state of it as it is right now. So, why are we doing this? Why are we making a gaming trackball? And like I mentioned, it's something I wanted, but it's not. Our intent is not to replace the gaming mouse. Many people prefer the mice. They have advantages over the trackball. Trackball has some advantage over the mice, but really what it comes down to is preference. And there's a number of people who prefer to use trackballs, and they game like myself. And right now their choices are limited in the sense that they don't have all the quite features, function, high-end pieces of equipment, whether it be sensors and switches, all in one unit. So I decided to do it myself since nobody else was doing it, and give a go with this. It's not something that we anticipate selling millions or billions of. We recognize it's a niche market, but we want to give the people in that market an option, something that is more appropriate for computer gaming and specific to them. Have the latest features and functions you'd see in a gaming mouse we want to have in a trackball. So that's really why we're doing this. I'll be making more videos about me using it live in Windows and in various games. So have a look at those. I want to give you, show you the actual trackball in action. So I encourage you to go to www.gamingtrackball.com. There's a mailing list you can sign up for there. You can keep track of us that way. You can just keep track of the website. We're also on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all that. So I appreciate you watching the video today. That's a little bit of the background on GameBall, what it is, where we're at. Again, we're looking at early 2020 for being able to start selling the units. We're excited with where we're at, and looking forward to moving forward with GameBall. Appreciate you taking the time and watching the video today, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you.